Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to an all-new episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom. That's Jeff. Steve Austin, The Undertaker. Got a lot to talk about. So,
always,
Jeff,
yeah.
Monday Night Raw in June of 1999. I'd love to know where you found this match, why we're covering it. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, this is one of those that we'll get into it with the build, but kind of, hey, why this late June kind of random Raw? Like, why would we care type thing? And this was just one of those that we got a little bit of King of the Ring action right now, and so this was, of course, when King of the Ring used to be back in the 90s of taking place in these June months, and so kind of wanted to throw this one in there because there is some backstory that goes along with this that's pretty good, and so yeah, just and then at this point, two of the top wrestlers are out there, and so why not? But it should be a good one to cover.
Good. Well, let's get into the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
Monday Night Raw, June 28th, 1999. We're at the Charlotte Coliseum in Charlotte, North Carolina. We start off with Ken Shamrock and Steve Blackman going to a no contest in a 3-minute weapons match. I don't know how a weapons match ends in no contest, but it did. Chaz is going to defeat Meat in 2 minutes. Hardcore Holly is going to defeat Kane in 1 minute and 35 seconds.
Okay.
Jeff, you've heard me say this a lot. We remember the Attitude Era being better than it was.
Yeah.
The highs of the Attitude Era may be the biggest highs in the history of the business. The top moments. But you look at these shows, Rock Triple H, DQ in 1 minute and 40 seconds. Edge defeats The Godfather in 2 minutes. Bradshaw defeats Mr. Ass in 3 minutes. Jeff Jarrett defeats X-Pac to retain the IC title. This match went a lot longer, 5 minutes. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. 17. We've had 18 minutes of wrestling across 7 matches.
Yeah. And finally, yeah.
2.5 minutes per match.
Which is wild. Yep.
Yeah. And then our main event, Steve Austin, Undertaker, for the WWF Championship. But man, I'm telling you, these cards, the way they book these things, I mean, it just wasn't as good as we remember. So,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
How do we get to this match?
Yeah, so this Raw is actually, like I said, taking place the night after King of the Ring 1999. And so you had that show. You had The Undertaker beat The Rock to retain the WWE Championship. He actually had some help, some interference from Triple H in China to win that one. Austin, on the flip side, he was kind of taking on the corporate ministry at this point. Of course, this was, Austin was just red hot. You had McMahon's corporation, you had the Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness, and so him kind of battling with all them, kind of leading around this time. And so, and there was some interesting piece of this too, because we know Stephanie had been abducted earlier in the year, and so there was a lot of feuds going on with Vince and Shane, and that was also playing into some of this as well too. But Austin, the babyface at this point, had been and we know forever, this is what the stories were, targeted by the Undertaker and Vince McMahon. And so, but as Vince kind of started to, the fractures began to form and stuff like that, he wasn't fully aligned with the Undertaker anymore, with the ministry. And so you had actually Austin had become the WWE CEO, and so he actually booked himself into a championship match on this Raw, and so kind of abusing his power. But what are you going to do, type thing. And so decided I'm going to do it this way, and that's how we got this match. And so literally the night after Taker beating The Rock is when you get this. Now, 1999, kind of looking at it as well too, like, and I'm looking to see like Austin that night before, he did have a match with, it was him and Vince and Shane taking on Stone Cold. And so it was a handicap ladder match. And so it kind of playing that out. So that's how we got to this one. Just kind of interesting how it played out. But yeah, booked himself. That's how we got it.
Okay. All right. I'm ready to cover this one if you are. We've got a Daily Motion clip pulled up. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to start this one from the beginning. It's time for the payoff.
Oh, it's time for the payoff.
We are back live, ladies and gentlemen. Raw is War. Tim Ross and Jerry the King.
So yeah, it's a little more detail than the build to this one too. The reason, even though or why he was still CEO, was because even though the match before had been for that control, of course, in storyline, Austin had actually drafted himself a new contract, so gave him a raise, said he could beat up Vince whenever he wanted, said he could book matches whenever he wanted, and so they tried to fire him, of course, as was big at this time, but don't do a whole lot of firing storylines anymore. I can understand why, but yeah, so that is how Austin was able to book this. You got and looking great. Undertaker coming out. Is that the Winged Eagle too? Yeah, with Paul Bearer.
Yeah, a little surprised Undertaker was wearing the title around his waist. I don't know. It just looks weird, but
it looks so small on him.
Yeah, I know. I guess it was the anniversary of it, but I saw a lot of chatter recently, talking about King of the Ring and how Austin walked out for that, before the Lesnar match.
Yes.
And, it's a shame that happened because, that was really the end of his career. He went home. He only came back for a couple months and then retired. So, he was pretty beaten down at that point, and my guess is Vince knew it. But, it's a shame what happened. Austin losing to Lesnar, it would have helped Lesnar. Obviously he went on to be a big star regardless, but it would have been nice. It would have led to something later on between them. So we just never got that. But it's just a tough situation. The problem is, even to this day, it's still talked about. My whole feeling on it is, Austin just didn't even show up. It's not like he showed up and said, we got to figure something else out, or, he just didn't even want to show up to the building. And, it was harmful at the time. And it just was not the best way to end his career. All right. So hot start to this, back and forth, bunch of punches here. Just in your describing of the build, it just shows you, everything was just booked by the seat of its pants. They probably, who knows when they even decided they were going to do this match. Probably like that afternoon or a week prior. Everything was just so rushed and so shotgunny. I don't know. Maybe it led to must-see TV because you just never knew what the hell they were going to do. But I prefer... I have a lot more of a preference for this long-term storytelling. I like when I'm watching the video package before the match, and you're giving me. A lot of these stories now are 6 months or a year long. Think about it. How long is the Punk Rollins story?
Yeah.
Are we at a year? And we probably, I mean, would you be surprised if they wrestled at WrestleMania next year? I mean, is that a 2-year story? It's a year and a half. Bloodline went on for years. Cody Roman, I mean, it went on for well over a year, and arguably, I mean, they're assuming they'll go back to it. You know, you're probably going to get a long program out of Cena and Cody. I mean, that's going to be a better part of a year. I know people don't like talking about The Rock's involvement, but I mean, that's a multi-year involvement with all of that. So yeah. I mean, tell me what you prefer, but I so prefer, I guess to me, it's like it's a deeper, more intellectually stimulating story. So the idea of Cody and Roman and everything they've been through, and, you know, the shocking loss, then the huge title win, then they were tag partners, like all of that to me is a lot more interesting than, hey, Stone Cold and Undertaker with no build are going to main event Raw and there's going to be a title involved. This just isn't as good to me. And this is probably a lot of where like AEW, like just putting two guys together for a quote unquote dream match or a match, it's not intellectually stimulating to me at all. It's just like, great, fake fight for no reason.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too, because I do like the long form. I do think that's the way to go. I think that especially it's, you know, the short, we know how, like, we're just not a fan of that anymore. Like, yeah, you might need a month or, you know, for some build here or there, which makes sense. But also, like, you know, tell me a story. Like, why do we watch, like, you know, some of these TV shows we do, like Mad Men or whatever? Like, it's because they're telling the long story. Like that's the narratives and kind of stuff we like. I bring that up because my wife, I've seen Mad Men, I don't know how many times, but my wife has never seen it. And so we've been watching it. And so she's like, wait, have you seen it? I don't know. But like, she's like, wait, why are they calling him this? Like, why is like, wait, like, she's like, is anybody in this show a good person? And I was like, not really. And so it's been in, but that kind of long form storytelling is what we're all used to. But I do think that the kind of downside to that, though, is when a match doesn't work out, that it hurts that much more, or it feels like that much more of a letdown, because we've been invested for as long as we have. Like, it's the John Cena, Cody Rhodes, like, it just didn't hit right. And you know, the people kind of left unhappy with that one. But then on the flip side, like the Rollins, Reigns, Punk, like they told the story, the match was great. And so I think that's the kind of downside to this, is it is more vocal about how bad it is if we were more invested in it. But rightfully so. Like, we're more let down by what we're seeing, because they did get me invested. They do want me to enjoy it. And it hurts that much more when it isn't.
It's funny. It came up. I don't know who was. I don't know how the topic came up. But I said, you know, when's the last time there was a really bad main event in WWE or AEW?
Mm-hmm.
And my point was, I was like, I grew up going to SummerSlam 1995, and the main event was Diesel versus Mabel.
Mm-hmm.
So don't tell me that main events are bad now. and my point was, and of course there are people that were, oh well, Cena Cody sucked. No, it didn't. It was pretty good. Like, was it best ever 5-star? No. Was it a bad main event? No. There are no. I mean, everyone can work now. You know, like, your lumbering big man is Braun Strowman, who is a very, very good wrestler. It's not, you know, some guy that can. It's not, you know, Giant Gonzalez. All right, like the bad workers, or the big men, or the people that aren't your, you know, Shawn Michaels, Seth Rollins style. They're still great in the ring. I mean, everyone is really good in the ring. All the main events are great. So it just drives me nuts when people complain about matches. I'm like, you're just watching to be angry. All the wrestling now is fantastic. It just is.
Well, and look at, okay, so Rollins is a Heyman guy now. Braun Breaker's a Heyman guy now. Like, it's that like they got there, like we had been saying that for a long time. Like we knew Heyman liked Breaker, like they got there eventually. Like you got to sometimes
compare like the wrestling of Braun Breaker to Goldberg. Braun Breaker is 100 times better in the ring than Goldberg ever was, and maybe he'll be as big of a star or not. But my point is a pro wrestler is like what happens in the ring. These guys now, like everyone now, is phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it too. Is they're able to, they're not able to hide their deficiencies anymore, and there's always going to be someone nipping at you from behind too. Like there's always someone else that is going to be looking to get that top spot, like whether you get hurt or, whatever it might be. Like, eventually it's just going to be interesting how it all plays out. Like, do I think that they're still, if you bring up Goldberg, my least favorite wrestler, but, do I understand why, like, they bring him back in for certain things? Like, yeah, and hopefully the retirement is finally the retirement at this point. But like, it's still, they don't really need to do that. Now you can use that, like I said, like we said last week, to get over some of these other people, but I would be fine if we didn't see some of these people again either. Like, not because I don't want to see them, but because the roster's so deep. There's so many different things they can do. It's got to be extremely difficult to book people now. Like, they've only got so much TV time. Like, how do you get on TV? Like, granted, there's so many different promotions and things that they own now and can do now. Like, but it's still, you've got your big superstars that you want to see. But yeah, it's really interesting how, the time that we're in wrestling right now and seeing the evolution of it, and, where's it going to go? What didn't Orton just say? He still thinks he's got 5 more years. Can you imagine another 5 years of Randy Orton? Like, yeah, great. Like, let him come out.
That's the thing. And I really have not seen this talked about, but the longevity now, because they don't have to work so much.
Yeah.
I mean, Randy Orton, he may only wrestle 20 times this year.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe he'll wrestle 50 times. But I just, how many matches is Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns could do this for 10 more years if he wants to.
Yep.
And in the next 10 years, he'll work as many matches as, he'll work less matches than Flair or Hogan used to in a year.
Well, and you look at like some of the medical treatments these guys get. Like,
they maintain their body, and they don't. Yeah. These guys probably barely drink. They don't do drugs. I mean, you look at what these guys were doing 300 matches a year, and at least drinking heavily, if not,
whatever
pills
other
and
substance,
drugs and everything else. Yeah. And I don't fault them at all for that. I mean, it was circus, rock star,
it was
gypsy lifestyle. I wish for them they didn't do it, because their quality of life, a lot of them died in their 30s or 40s, and many of them have had tough qualities of life and have no money now. So I wish for their sake that they wouldn't have done it, but I don't fault them for doing it. It was just the times. But yeah, these guys now, they are traveling in private buses. They've got, nutritionists. They are putting the right stuff in their body. They're not doing drugs. I don't know enough about this, but if they're doing a type of steroid, it's something that's 1,000,000 times healthier and might even be legal now. So, you have that as well. All right, let's check in on this match.
For the collision.
High energy. Both guys, they're wrestling hard. They're wrestling stiff. Everyone's on their feet.
Yes.
We had a stunner from Austin not that long ago. Kind of stunned.
Yeah, everyone is on their feet. You're right.
Cliche, stunned Taker. Yep.
You think about like 1999, 1998 Steve Austin, like when he was healthy. He's, I don't know, 4 or 5 shows a week. Yeah. And when you're in the main event, you're going 20 minutes. Like, you go to a WWF house show back in the day, your main event was 20 minutes. 25 minutes. I mean, they went, and there's nights that,
big stunner. Big stunner. Oh. Cole and Hebner out of the ring, yeah.
Paul Bear pulled the referee outside.
Paul Bear bump.
Paul Bear! That could be a disqualification. Oh! Austin hanging the Undertaker off that rope. Undertaker is reeling here and knocks down
Big
the
stunner here. It's got to be. Yep.
Again, the WWF title on the line.
I'm kind of locked into this one. It's gotten pretty good.
Really good.
Yeah, interesting to see. Oh, here we go.
The stunner! The leg is up! Yeah! The rattlesnake! The rattlesnake! The rattlesnake! Stone Cold is the WWF champion! Dagger celebration! Yes, it's a night!
There's just nothing like it. I mean, there is. I mean, Jeff, I'll put you on the spot. What's better than a Steve Austin entrance or championship winning pop? I mean, what in the history of wrestling is bigger than that?
Right. Yeah.
If Steve Austin comes out at the next show you're at and the glass breaks, it'll be the biggest pop of the night.
Yeah. I think the only thing that you could maybe interchange with it is the Taker gong, like the bell. Like that's the only
maybe.
Yeah, right. But right, it depends on the week. Yeah, like
it's just wild that if and here's the other thing too that I find so crazy. So I say to you, let's say we take someone that doesn't really watch wrestling, and we're like, look, if the glass breaks and this guy Steve Austin comes out right now, it'll be the loudest ovation of the night and probably by far. Yep. Oh, tell me about this guy. Oh, well, he retired 20 years ago.
Yep.
There's people in the audience that weren't alive yet. There's people in the audience that didn't grow up. I mean, you have to be in your mid to late 30s or older to have grown up watching him.
Yeah.
Right? So it's insane that's your biggest pop to this day. It's crazy. All right, well, let's get to the aftermath.
Oh, it's time for the aftermath.
All right, so what'd you think? And I think you were going to say something before I cut it off.
just all really good. And I think it was just one of those, like, we talk about the longevity of some of these people and kind of what they did and the injuries and all that other stuff. Like, it does make you wonder, like, in 20 years, like, when we're retired, are we going to be talking about Roman Reigns? Like, he's gone and but he still has that longevity. Like, are we still going to be talking about the Austin though? And like Undertaker before Roman or Seth? Like, who is going to be those people that our kids are able to kind of watch and say, oh yeah, like this is who dad watched. Like, we talk about like Hulk Hogan and Flair. Like, so, it's just that it's going to be really interesting, as we grow old and kind of seeing how that plays out. And this one too, like these guys, I do wonder if Taker was working, probably, I say if he was working injured at this one a little bit because, obviously Austin beating Undertaker on this one kind of go with the corporate ministry. So that played into this. Austin held the belt actually until SummerSlam 99. And so the next couple of months here, he lost it in a triple threat match that was Mankind and Triple H. But Undertaker...
flip-flopping these titles, and it's just, Mankind probably held it until the... Actually... You said Mankind won that match?
Yes.
I think he lost it the next night. I think Triple H beat him like the next night or right after that.
Let's take a look here. Yep, I'll see what happened. I'll pull it up.
My point is they just shotgun these titles. Yeah. Oh, I just paid $40. Mankind wins the title, yay! And then the next night on Raw, Triple H beats him. Or it happened. I'm almost positive it happened right after that.
With Shane McMahon as the guest referee, Triple H defeated Mankind after a pedigree to win his first WWE championship.
Told you. There you go.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, I've said this before. I wish that my knowledge of this was put to better use. I wish that I was able to cure cancer or do something more productive in society. Then remember that in 1999 at SummerSlam, Mankind won the title, but then the next night on Raw he lost it to Triple H. I really wish that, but this is the life I've chosen for myself.
You and me both. Yeah, here we go. 300 episodes later. Yeah, we're putting it to use. So, like it's Undertaker, actually, he formed the Unholy Alliance, if you remember, with the Big Show, but ended up late 99, kind of injuries, didn't return until middle of 2000. And that's when he was the American Badass as well, too. So, but this match, not just because how good the match was, but also like this was we're doing it a lot at this point because the pay-per-view model, like this was a free TV match where Austin went over the Undertaker. Like that's a pretty big deal if you think about it at the time. And so just really good overall, like, interesting. And so in 1999 though, Austin was 1, Undertaker was 8. This match didn't get any star ratings, but I was kind of looking up the TV ratings on this one, and so it's at a 9.5 Nielsen rating, equating to over 10 million viewers, making it one of the most watched matches in U.S. cable television history at the time. And so huge numbers, like 10 million people watching that. Like that's wild.
I mean, insane. But here's the thing. You see some of these YouTube clips and they'll be like, oh, the Return of the Rock got 100 million views. So it's again, different business model, different times, but it is crazy that 10 million people were sitting there watching that television. That was probably before DVR. Very, very few people had it. I think my, like rich friend had it. And, but you go now, and if something like that happened on Raw, there's going to be 50 million views within 24 hours, which is crazy in and of itself.
Yep. Yeah, just wild. So what are you going to score this one? What do you think? We didn't get any ratings on it, but what are you thinking?
5. I mean, the match was good, kind of fast, hard hitting. It wasn't bad, but you make the title pointless when it's flip-flopped around and in a random 12-minute match on Raw, someone wins the title. I understand doing it as a surprise, but it just crushed these pay-per-views, and it just made these pay-per-views pointless. And remember, $30, $40 at the time. What about you?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like, it was a good match, so I was going to give it like a 6.5 because the match was really good. The crowd was really hot. Like I said, we use our own scores. We don't compare it to this match or that match. We kind of look at it in a silo. And so I was actually pretty locked in at this one. Like, I was enjoying it. I thought it, like, it's Taker and Austin. Like, what's not to love type thing. And so yeah, I'm at a 6.5, a little bit higher than you, a little bit of a differentiation there, but still good stuff. So great match though. Like this, just like them, they sent us home happy, but let's send everybody happy here on the payoff this week too.
All right. Well, we appreciate everyone listening. This was episode 303. So we've been at this for a while now, and we love doing it, and we appreciate you listening. As always, hit us on Twitter. Let us know what matches we haven't covered yet. And we'll see everyone next week on an all-new episode of The Bad.